Todd Howard and the future of Fallout.
Earlier today, Todd Howard was on the Kinda Funny Gamescast for a new live interview.
I have never seen this kind of funny Gamescast thing, nor I have even never heard of it, but I can already assume I would not probably like it at all.
Yes, he provided some insights into the production of the Fallout TV show, including a reveal on one major location that'll pop up in Fallout Season 2.
That is the Powder Ganger's main base, the prison. Interesting.
But we also get into Todd Howard's thoughts on Fallout, and we get those questions about when a new Fallout game could come, or even if one could come from Obsidian. But it's not just talk about...
Oh no, that is not a question you want ever ask Todd Howard. Todd, the guy with the biggest ego in the history of the universe. Do you think you could give, Obsidian, the guys who made the best Fallout game, Fallout New Vegas, the most critically acclaimed best Fallout game, do you think you could give them another shot at it? And I can already see Todd Howard literally fuming and popping a vein from his forehead and blood splattering all over. Yeah, maybe. Who knows? It's all in the cards. Oh man, he is never coming back to that show again.
About Fallout, we also get some major news on what is going on with Starfield and even its Shattered Space DLC. But in other major news, the Fallout TV show Displates just dropped. Displates are high quality count. But of course, a ton of this interview was focused around the Fallout TV show. Todd Howard describes how working on the Fallout TV show was one of the most fun aspects of his career so far, and how he and Jonathan Nolan really hit it off, and seems like this is what led to the show in the first place.
And it didn't come out of this desire we must have a TV show. It's like you hit it off with another creator, someone I respect immensely. Jonah's work has inspired me so much, from what he did in The Dark Knight and Interstellar, Prestige, Memento, and then Westworld, where you felt like...
Yeah, Westworld, the thing that absolutely instantaneously collapsed after one season. Yeah, I have tremendous respect also for that absolute garbage dumpster fire, obviously.
Okay, we could do this at a high level. We could have a really high quality kind of show, and I wanted to approach it as an entry in the franchise, as opposed to, a direct translation of an existing story. So, and he and I just kind of clicked. He was obviously had played the games a lot, so he didn't come to it like, I just want to make a TV show. He came to it as a fan of Fallout. He had played so much Fallout 3. He could speak to it naturally.
But I think this is what really gets into the why the Fallout TV...
Even if he has played a single Fallout game, which, by the way, I really doubt, because this is what all those Hollywood directors, showrunners do. They get to direct a show or something like that, and they instantaneously think, oh my god, I have been a fan of this franchise since I was a pubescent sperm in my dad's balls. That's what they all do. I literally trust absolutely no one in Hollywood who is a showrunner who ever says, oh yeah, the source material, I love it, I have played it. Currently, almost all the showrunners in Hollywood are directly picked who do not know anything about any source material that they're making. They just want to, wear the skin of the franchise so they get the fans in and it's not an absolute disaster. And all of them think that they are better than the source material. And I think if you watch the Fallout TV show, that's pretty obvious. The Brotherhood of Steel is an absolute joke. The plot makes no sense at all. Vaults changed, ghouls changed, the lore makes absolutely no sense. Retcons through the roof. It's pretty obvious, I think, that he absolutely lied about even knowing what Fallout is.
TV show worked. It seems like Todd Howard acts as almost this arbiter of Fallout. We all wish they were doing more spin-offs and remasters, but we haven't gotten that yet because he didn't really want it. Conversely, in the case of the Fallout...
Well, thank God Microsoft now owns Bethesda, and Microsoft tells Bethesda what to do. And, if Bethesda doesn't have the ability to say no. Todd Howard's influence on what's going to be made is zero nowadays. Well, obviously he still has a say in blah, 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 because he is the CEO and whatnot. But Microsoft at the end of the day is just saying, hey, Toddy, come here. Jump this high and make another Fallout game. And Todd Howard is like, you sign my paycheck. And there we go.
TV show, it took someone who really understood and was independently passionate about Fallout.
Also, by the way, I think this is all a complete lie because they got acquired by Microsoft in the time when Microsoft was already in the works of making a lot of TV series about their franchise, the Halo series and whatnot. You know, they're doing all of it. So I think Microsoft said, yeah, right, we're making a Fallout TV show. And again, Todd has... Some people don't understand this, but when you're a publicly traded company and the person with the vast majority of shares, the control packet, tells you, you do X, Todd Howard can't say no. He doesn't have a magical veto. This is not this is not a coalition of, you know, states or countries or whatever. He does what he is told.
To actually get it made, and that seems to be one of the big reasons as to why this show has been such a massive success. It was Jonathan Nolan going, hey, I have some really cool ideas for a Fallout show, instead of, hey, let's do a Fallout.
Well, yeah, massive success. Again, these ratings are crazy. First of all, it's all tourists. Second of all, this is scrubbed. They removed anyone almost who put in a one out of whatever the max was, I forgot, 1 out of 5, I think Rotten Tomatoes is. But they obviously kept all the 5 out of 5 max rating amazing, literally have never reviewed anything else in their lives ratings. Because those are real, obviously.
Fallout show and then trying to figure out how to make it really cool. And a lot of people thought this show...
And by the way, if you don't believe that, Amazon made this. And Amazon has a very well-documented history of scrubbing the ratings in favor of their shows, okay? They own Rotten Tomatoes, so there you go.
Show is cool. Earlier today, we got the reveal that the Fallout TV show was watched by more than 65 million people through the 16 days since release. This makes it the second most watched Prime show ever, just behind Rings of Power. But what to me is the even more impressive stat...
Well, you know, being compared to Rings of Power is not really a good thing, but okay.
Is that among adults 18 to 34, 60% of that viewership came from outside of the United States. So a lot of the young adults watching the show weren't Americans, reflecting on just how global Fallout really is right now. Also makes sense why we constantly are getting comments about a Fallout not set in the United States. And in Todd Howard's view, the Fallout TV show provides a unique lens. The Fallout games are one lens into Fallout, but the show is another. They both have a ton of overlap, but appeal to slightly different audiences. But there was also a key aspect to the Fallout TV show to make it feel like a standalone entry into the franchise. We saw all those articles about how the showrunners really approached it as a Fallout 5, a new story, not just an adaptation. And here, Todd Howard expands on that to describe him really encouraging evolution from the show.
Well, I would say the main thing I would point out to Jonah and them is...
Yeah, this was my theory. Because the Fallout story of the world has pretty much stood completely idle for, well, since Fallout 3 honestly came out, you know, 1 and 2. There are some things that kind of move forward almost and things happen, but nothing on a really grand scale ever has happened in the games. In any canonical ending, it's just like a small localized thing in a town pretty much happening. So, yeah, the needle is finally moving forward. This was what I expected to be the goal.
We change things every game also. Right?
You don't respect your own lore. I knew it.
On.
I knew you don't respect your own lore.
That's true,
Well,
though.
we try to as much as possible. But like the power armor changes from game to game. How it worked from 3 to 4 even, it's very different. And so it was, hey, look, there may be some things that you need to evolve because that's what we do in the games. And let's just make that a conversation. Let's have it be intentional. One of the ones we talked about is the Pip-Boy changes. And it changes every game. But the one in the show, kind of like this gunmetal color. And Jonah was sort of consistent. Hey, look, I have a lot of colors in camera. Very particular with how these scenes are going to look. The vault suit is very, like, that should be where the color is coming from.
Although, with that in mind, we get the question of how much time did Todd Howard actually contribute to the Fallout TV show?
You know, my main involvement was up front, you know, and finding that box. You know, what are we going to do? What are we not going to do? What are the rules? When we want to break the rules, how do we go through that? So I would do script reviews. But look, it's not just me. East Von Pele has been the art director.
So he completely just signed off on the idea of completely destroying the Brotherhood of Steel, which I'm fine with because Enclave, baby. And well, goals being completely retconned and, you know, everything essentially.
Director on the series. Emil Pagliarulo has been the design director on the series. James Altman was the executive producer along with me. So I got to go to set, a number of times and check things out. But I'm not going to set to be like, yeah, I don't like the lighting. I mean, you leave that up to the professionals. But James was there, most of the time when they were shooting. And we would have sometimes daily callbacks to, hey, there's this question on this, and we would have call back to the studio, give them an answer, or they're going to be shooting something in a couple days and they're building this prop. This is what it looks like. Can we verify this? Do we need any changes? So it was pretty active.
This is pretty interesting to me, because it definitely sounds like Bethesda and ZeniMax were intimately involved with TV show production.
No, to me this sounds like people didn't want really Todd Howard to butt in too much, so they, made him feel important. I have done this in business also, This is the age-old tactic of lathering up your boss by making them feel like they just accomplished something, but in reality it's like very minor. But so they just, leave you alone. That's essentially what they just did. Hey Todd, we got this pit boy, and it's like the color of the pit boy. We want your opinion on it, dude. And he's like, yes, the color of the pit boy. Yay. And then they swat him with small shit like that so he doesn't butt in at all. It's a classic tactic.
Mind you, we don't have exact dates, but it really seems like a lot of this was going on right as Starfield was entering into its final phase of production. Seems like this was an incredibly busy time for Todd Howard. Since the release of the show, they've been sharing periodic behind the
God, how... I mean, I knew Todd Howard was small, but wow, that is impressive. I don't think this woman is, by the way, that big. I don't think any of them are really that big except this dude and this dude and this dude. These are probably also... They actually, I can't tell. Is she just super... Is she tall? Probably not. But Todd Howard is small, okay? He's like 1 meter 60 centimeters or something like that. He can get in a baby stroller if he really wants to.
The scenes photos on Twitter, and there are quite a few involving various members of Bethesda. This is likely one of the big reasons the show was so visually accurate to the games, and particularly visually accurate to Fallout 4. And part of this process were actual checks from Bethesda on...
I hate when people are constantly trying to give credit to the Fallout TV show to being visually accurate to the source material. Bruh, first of all, which part? They literally just had power armor that looked decent, and then they had guns that looked decent. That is it. That is it. Okay? That's it. None of the locations looked accurate to the game. All of them looked stupid and redundant. And that's it. And also, again, making visuals for a show that's based off, I don't know, a game or whatever is the simplest thing ever. It's like the concept of trying to make an appealing shot in space in a space game. It's really, really hard to mess up. It is incredibly hard to mess up. So the fact that they got the visuals right, some guns and power armor and, a vault suit, I mean, cool, but that doesn't make a show good.
On the Fallout TV show, to ensure it's taking Fallout in the direction they want it to go.
Right, and so there's still a check back to make sure, hey, this fits in the franchise, this moves it forward in ways that we think are appropriate. So
Todd Howard continues on to describe that during production they started to realize they were making something special, and he would even ask crew members who were Fallout fans if the show was coming out as good as it seemed to be. And even specifically, Todd Howard describes the first script he read on the Fallout TV show as a real gift. Even from the onset, Bethesda was incredibly happy with where the show was headed, and honestly, I get why. Despite the Fallout fanbase being downright crazy, basically everyone agrees that the show looks great. It feels like Fallout, and it feels like it really understands what Fallout is. To me, that seems like the hardest detail to get correct, but they nailed it. This is a show...
I don't know about that. Some situations looked more Mad Max than anything, honestly. This especially bad was when they came into the first town where, all three of them met. that town is just a shithole, okay? And there's no reason for it to be a shithole. It looks more Mad Max, honestly, than Fallout. I think they tried to go for a Megaton-ish type of vibe. But again, if you hear a description of Megaton, that's probably what you make. But that's not what you make if you actually have, played the games and been in Megaton. It's not a place that has just garbage all around it for the sake of garbage being all around it and whatnot. It's a town. But no, the first city is just a town with no guards, and there's just shit. And it looks like raiders are, I'm assuming, in that town also, and everything's fine. But people are going, oh, squirrel on a stick, squirrel on a stick, squirrel on a stick. Very impressive, very impressive. Yeah, the aesthetics are, sometimes they're good enough, sometimes they're just super fucking bad. So when they entered the medical facility before they got into Vault 4, for example, that place was spotless, and it had a working generator. How? Some places that they entered were spotless, like they're almost brand new, just haven't been used for like a month or whatever. It's just, nothing makes really that much sense there.
Being made by people who actually took the time to understand Fallout. And if you were impressed by the attention to detail from the show, apparently it went even further than most of us realized.
My favorite anecdote is...
What does that even mean? It went further than most of us realized if we didn't realize it. What?
They had the overseer's office.
Yeah.
And
okay.
I sit down, like, hey, sit behind the desk. We'll like do a little interview here. And you sit down, they have all the papers, and they have this note that no one will ever see that's like to the overseer that they had written. I'm reading, I'm like, oh. Then you have the stack of papers and you flip it over, and then they have like the power report in the vault, and then like the food supply. I'm like, you didn't even like fake the stack of papers.
To me, this is just insane. It really speaks to the love
and useless and dumb and completely a waste of time. Also, do you want to bet all those numbers are incorrect?
The set and prop designers had for Fallout just to take it to that level. But during this interview, we also get the retirement question. Is retirement on Todd Howard's mind? To which you respond,
please say yes.
I don't want to ever stop. I just,
Damn
it's
it!
too much fun. I love...
Oh, no, come on, Todd. Just call it a day, please. Just call it a day already. You can't... You're like Disney. You just refuse to stop ruining things. Please, just find a random hobo on the street and say, now you're the CEO of Bethesda, congratulations. And things are probably gonna improve. Come on, Todd. Don't do this to us. Just stop.
The work, I love the products. If I didn't make these games, I would just be playing them all the time. Even this weekend, I was jumping between Starfield and Fallout.
On your Xbox One or Xbox Series X? Is he gonna say it? Is he gonna say it?
Fallout 76 and Fallout 4. Like, that's how I spent my weekend playing games.
Very nice.
And
he didn't say it because I thought that he's gonna say it like that. Minus points. Microsoft is gonna be pretty upset with you, Todd, for not shilling like you should have. When Starfield was coming out, Todd Howard was saying, "Oh yeah, I played it on my Xbox Series X, and my kid played it on Xbox X. I don't know, a different one because it works on both of them." What kind of idiot has two Xboxes of different quality, especially when you're a millionaire?
They do take a long time, and so I think one of the things that we're focused on here is obviously making sure they're the highest quality.
Oh, by the way, is this the guy whose whole personality nowadays is just about, smoking that Marijuana? That one? And he gets extremely upset when someone even whispers the name Trump? Is this the guy? I think this is the guy.
But also, finding ways...
Or he could be just similar, because everyone who has this beard and that hairstyle, they're pretty much the same exact copy of one another.
...to increase our output, because we don't want to wait that long either, right? It's never our plan, but we want to make sure that we get it right. And so my hope is to do it kind of as long as possible. I have no plans of retiring or anything like that.
Honestly, I was
Sad.
curious about this one myself. Todd Howard spent a ton of his career managing 100 developer team in Maryland. But over the last decade, we've seen this gigantic growth from Bethesda, opening up several new studios, getting into live service and mobile, and eventually getting bought out by Microsoft. It definitely seems like Todd Howard's job would have dramatically evolved, but between his response here and even what he mentioned earlier about loving being on set for the Fallout TV show, which of course is only something that will continue to happen as we get further seasons of this show, makes me think that we are really going to be seeing Todd Howard for a long time, until Todd Howard's an old man video game developer, and hey, I'm definitely here for that. And in this, the interviewer begins to touch on Bethesda getting their games out a bit faster. And we get the question so many are wondering right now, whether Bethesda regrets not having a new Fallout game out to complement the release of this TV show.
No, not necessarily. We sort of, first I view it top-down franchise. How healthy is the franchise?
I hope that Microsoft pushes that real hard.
How relevant is Fallout to the world? And I think we're doing really well there. And we have a whole team on Fallout 76, and so we've always been doing a lot of Fallout work. We're always making plans.
Sad.
And we kind of have, in some ways or another, 5 kind of separate teams within the studio. We move people between both the work we do on Fallout, the work we're doing on Starfield.
Hey, if you like Fallout 76, that's fine. I'm cool with that. But at least have the spine to admit that's a shit game and you just like it anyway. That's it. Just be a normal person. You know, I like some shitty games myself, and I know they're shit, and I will admit they're absolute garbage. But the people who like 76 are just fundamentally incapable of admitting that they like complete trash for some reason, and they take offense to that. Just be a man for once in your life.
We have some stuff coming that we really excited people to see. Elder Scrolls 6, mobile team, and then kind of external projects and co-development we're doing on things. Obviously, we do, back ports or other things. We're going to other platforms with games that still have big audiences, such as Fallout 4.
Sure.
This response is very interesting, and it does give us a very powerful insight into what Bethesda is actually doing. So we see they have 5 teams, and from an earlier interview with Wired, we know a rough employee distribution. The Starfield team was about half of the 500 developers at Bethesda right now, so 250 developers on Starfield as of
250 developers, 9 years, and you get Starfield. Wow. That is crazy.
the end of last year. The vast majority of remaining developers likely make up the Fallout and Elder Scrolls 6 teams. Each of these are pretty obvious. We heard how production on the Elder Scrolls 6 has begun. Many rumors right now suggest a 2026 release date for that game. And of course, we know that Fallout team is working on both Fallout 76 and likely somewhat on the Fallout 4 Next Gen update, and perhaps some of the updates that will need to come out after the Fallout 4 Next Gen update. Right now, Fallout 76 is getting external support from several studios, but the main support studio
I mean, yes, this is the game quality, by the way. This Fallout 76 completely destroyed stealth build.
seems to be 011. This is actually made up of several former Fallout 4 mod authors who were hired to work on Fallout 76 at 011. The mobile team just dropped the Elder Scrolls Castles, but then we also have some internal teams that primarily help external teams and co-development, which is an incredibly interesting answer to me. So now, to be clear, I recognize this is absolutely confirmation bias, but a co-development team would perfectly line up with that rumor that Virtuous Games, a massive dev outsourcing company, was working on an Oblivion remaster built in both.
Okay, let's be real. A
The
Singaporean
outsourcing company was working
Singapore. Whatever. A Singaporean company that Todd Howard is heading, bruh. You know Todd Howard is just off there to Singapore every weekend for that boy pussy. Okay, that's what he's doing. Okay, that's the only reason Todd Howard probably cares to work with them. Okay, he's just there for that high experience special. Okay, that's what it is.
on an Oblivion remaster built in both Gamebryo and Unreal Engine 5.
Ah, yes, we talked about this. The Oblivion remaster is gonna be horrible. It's just gonna be sad. Oblivion is not something you can remake. Morrowind is not something you can remake. None of this is anything you can remake and just upgrade the graphics. for the modern day landscape of gaming and what we feel is acceptable as actual gamers, these games cannot be remaked. They are just something you have fond memories of playing when you were a kid, but it's not something you want to replay. And there are people that replay and they like it, but super minority. So yeah, people are not gonna accept a hidden dice roll mechanic, and you can't understand why you're not hitting any of the hits that you're swinging on the opponent and you die. People are gonna hate this.
Slated for release in late 2024 or early 2025. So I've covered this leak to death at this point, but what made this one so interesting to me is just how plausible it was from the onset. Remastered games using dual engines is a thing now. Several other games have done this to great success because it allows you to keep that original engine in the background to make sure the game feels the same. But then you could use the newer engine like Unreal Engine 5 to make things look substantially better, which is basically what everyone wants from a remaster, a great looking game that feels exactly like it did before. And on this original leak post, it wasn't just leaking Oblivion. There were several other games from Virtuous mentioned, and even the moderators of the Gaming Leaks and Rumors subreddit verified this user as somebody who could know this information. I reached out to the moderators separately, and they confirmed to me that, yeah, this definitely looks like it could be a real one. Which, okay, even just when that Oblivion leak came out, I was like, okay, this is looking pretty promising. But then several months after that post was made and subsequently deleted, we got a leak of a Bethesda roadmap from the FTC and really from Microsoft that had an Oblivion remaster on it and had almost exactly the same timeline that was mentioned in this Reddit post.
Boring.
Some follow-ups about co-developing Fallout games with some other studios, and Todd Howard continues on to say they're always approached with offers around other people developing Fallout, but how Bethesda feels happy with their runway of upcoming Fallout releases, specifically mentioning the Fallout 76 updates and Fallout 4 Next Gen, and how they want to make sure they're producing.
Next Gen is unanimously hated by almost everyone. Next Gen is an absolute slap in the face for old-time fans. Now, admittedly, again, Fallout is getting a lot of tourists that are coming in now because of everything that's happening here with the TV show and whatnot. A lot of people who never knew what Fallout is are coming into the franchise, and well, tourists are typically never a good thing. Ask Diablo how that went for them. They decided, hey, you know, Diablo 2, the game that made us really big and whatnot, and people loved it, millions of fans. Yeah, let's just sweep them under the rug and go for a completely new audience. And then you had Diablo 3, and now they're continuing with this with Diablo 4. Yeah, I mean, it's a great tactic. Good luck, Bethesda.
Quality content. I don't know how the interviewer didn't immediately challenge the assertion when it comes to the Fallout 4 Next Gen update. I would not describe the Fallout 4 Next Gen update as quality content. I think a lot of people who tried it would agree with me, but at least in Todd Howard's opinion, it seems like he feels Fallout is perfectly okay right now.
Well, he can't say that anything's bad. He's a CEO, goddammit. Like, all the CEOs are as one liars when it comes like this. Elon Musk, anything that he develops is the best thing ever. Todd Howard, every game and every product they have is the best thing ever. Microsoft is the best thing ever. Every company's CEO is the exact same when it comes to this. Because they literally legally cannot say bad things about their company.
And honestly, I think all of this lines up with the new rumor coming from Jez Corden that following the Fallout TV show's success, Microsoft wants to get a new Fallout game out as quickly as possible. And that may mean using other developers not named Bethesda to make that happen. You might be thinking, well, how does that line up? And I really think it's the fact that Microsoft is feeling that way now. It means a new Fallout game isn't already in development by an external studio. Discussions are just beginning, which perfectly lines up.
I never joined the Powder Gangers. I just always accidentally massacred them.
Up with what Todd Howard is saying here. He feels like Fallout is doing good, and the insane success of the Fallout TV show is what made Microsoft realize they need to step things up and get something out faster. And we hear Todd Howard describe how the level of attention coming to the Fallout games from the show blew away even their wildest expectations, and I think even projections.
I mean, that's what happens when you put an 80% discount on everything. Yeah, a lot of people came back. A lot of people wanted to replay things. And they honestly put it in out in a time where there's kind of nothing new really happening. We had Helldivers, and that's already kind of old news at this point, honestly. And the most exciting thing that's currently happening, I guess, is waiting for Diablo 4 Season 4, and that's it. And even that's kind of niche. There's nothing exciting currently happening. So, the timing for them, honestly, was absolutely pitch perfect.
You expect the show to bring a lot of attention to it, but the way that it has and the level of it has exceeded, even our wildest expectations. The games were ready for it, right? We had content added to all the games, so they're kind of ready for people to come back. But the level of it has certainly completely blown us away here.
Although one aspect of all of this that Todd Howard highlights that I do think a lot of people are missing is Fallout 76 was just way more popular than a lot of people realized.
I think what's great about this moment...
No, it's not.
...is seeing all of that work in Fallout 76.
76 is without a doubt the most poorest quality Fallout content ever. And man, if I get one more idiot in the comment section, well, did you play it for 500? Because they unironically are there. People are actually there. 40, I have played that game for 40 plus hours at this point. Probably 70, honestly. And people are like, oh, you just haven't played enough. You just didn't make a good build. You just played the game wrong. Bruh, how did I play the game wrong? I'm sorry, how did I play the game wrong? I didn't even explain how I played the game. And you're like saying, oh, you played the game wrong, you didn't make a build. Bruh, there's no such thing as a Fallout 76 build, you absolute meat puppet, okay? There's the be on low HP and have a bunch of rads so you dodge attacks. And then there's the, cards that increase damage of the weapon that you use. That, in my opinion, that's not even a build. Something as primitive, as simple, as dumb as that does not even deserve to be named a build. Okay?
76. Understand a lot of people, dismissed it from how it launched, understandably.
Sure.
It's kind of been sneaky popular for the last, 3 or 4 years. And seeing
it has not actually been doing that bad, because on average it'll have 5k players, I think, pretty much constantly. 3 to 5k players, I think, was the number. So it wasn't actually doing that bad. But then again, it's just Bethesda fanboys. And again, I even have played it for 70 hours, because sometimes you just get bored, and Fallout is one of those things you're kind of like, maybe I should download it and play it. But this time I downloaded, played for 1 hour, and I was like, okay, I'm fucking done. I'm done. This is garbage.
All of that attention come onto 76 now, and people coming in and...
You know what happened? I downloaded 76. I logged in. I checked my weapons. First thing I checked was the guns that I have. I was level 17 because I deleted my previous character. And turns out the game is so bad that now they tell you, hey, you should start at level 20 and we're going to give you guns and supplies and shit, so be happy about that. Yeah, I continued from my level 70 character, and, stealth build, blah, blah, blah. And, the first thing I do is I check the guns, and I'm like, I got this 13 round Kalashnikov or something like that here. So I'm gonna use this, but I have 0 ammo for it. Oh, that's sad. And then 100 ammo appears. Huh? Then it disappears again. I shoot the 13 bullets to just see what happens. 100. Shoot the bullets. Reload. No bullets left. Where did the 100 extra rounds that I have go? I don't know. They just magically vanished. Could not reload after that. Again, this is literally the quality of game that we're talking about. Then I wanted to go... I would probably have played longer, but I wanted to go to the golf course, right? I wanted to see what's there. And I'm like moving there along the road, and then a Scorched Beast appears. So listen, I'm level 17. I have 80 stims, but, I only took 6 because typically you don't actually need more than that, and stims are just useless weight that you carry around most of the time. And I'm like fighting a Scorched Beast. And man, that just highlights how bad the game is. The gunplay feels terrible, okay? There's not a single gun that's fun to shoot, unless it's like a super top-end endgame gun that doesn't require aiming and just kills everything automatically. Or you use VOTs. Because the shooting in Fallout 76 is just, 20 years old garbage levels of quality. So I fight a Scorch Beast, and it's a level 30 elite Scorch Beast. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? I'm a level 17. So I can either do a massive roundabout like this to not fight it, or I fight it and I lose because it's not because 6 Stimpaks is not enough. Then I need to resp. It's just so badly designed. The idea that I'm level 16 and I can actually even encounter a level 30 elite Scorch Beast just like that at random is a catastrophic failure of the game. It was so bad. And the Scorch Beast just flies somewhere, you can't see it, then you're clicking, that's all. It's just the worst experience ever. It is just so poorly made.
Saying, oh, really, really enjoying this as a Fallout experience. I think right now, as of today, it's the most people we've ever had in that game.
It may not have had crazy Steam numbers before the past couple of weeks, but Fallout 76 has always been in the top 50 games on Xbox. 6 years of
Well, to be honest, any game is always in the top 50 games of Xbox because there's no games to play on goddamn Xbox. Like, look at this. Rainbow Six Siege. It's a good game, don't get me wrong, but the amount of people who play this, it's pretty goddamn niche. And then you have NBA 2K24 above Minecraft? That is insane. And then you have a baseball game above Apex Legends. And GTA is all the way down here? Like, who's playing these games on Xbox? No one. That's the answer. No one. Red Dead Redemption 2 some magically how is just 3 slots below Fallout? I'm sorry. Are we kidding? Is this a joke? How?
presence on this list is a pretty big deal. Most games here are cyclic. You'll notice a lot of other popular releases are not on this list anymore. But Fallout 76 has had a remarkable degree of staying power with that core audience, and you have to imagine a lot of those players are buying microtransactions as well. But then this talk transitions over to Starfield stuff and get a very important question. How has the polarizing launch of Starfield impacted Bethesda?
Number one that we're always concerned with is how is the game holding up, right? What's our bug level? What's the crash rate? So first of all, we were over the moon with how kind of the actual data we were getting back and how the game was performing on a technical level. That one to us is always sort of most important on the dev side. Number two was the amount of players. Kind of set a record for how many players that we had in a game. Obviously, Game Pass is a part of that.
Of course.
But to see the amount of people playing and like, okay, we've had more players at launch than we've ever had in our careers, and the game is holding up really well. It's a really joyous moment for us, particularly after how long the game took. On the review side, and we've been through this, so it's not sort of new to us. What's new is it's a new IP, so you know that we're going to be doing some things differently than we've done before. And obviously we had people who love the game, both on the review side.
Okay, do we even care about Starfield, honestly, at this point? I just want Shattered Space to come out so I can laugh my ass off. Oh, well, okay. I guess that's it. Anyway, this was Quizzer Sid saying, thanks for watching, and that was Juicehead. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.